drop voice in the chat. And I see it in my stories. We are live in effect. I can't wait.
Awesome.
For this night to go. So, Kristen Webb here. I am your chief leadership enthusiast, and you are in the right place. If you logging in right now, you are watching Women Leaders Walk the Talk, and I am absolutely grateful for tonight. And I don't say that lightly. I feel like when I come on here, I say that often, but it's because I truly am grateful to go from vision and seeing it play out, but even more grateful to be able to truly do what I started the platform for, which was to be able to amplify the voice of women leaders. It really is that simple, is to be able to amplify the voice of leaders, and not because of women leaders, excuse me. And it's not because I want to amplify women voices because this is our season, right? Because this is the year of the woman. No, it's because it's required. It's because it's necessary. It's because it is important that our voices are not just present in every space, but activated in every space. And we see it play out with the removal of disparity, right? So that is the ultimate goal, is to help support that. And I know that sounds real heavy, but I love to be able to gather people together and connect. And so that's why I came up with Women Leaders Walk the Talk. And we are on year number 3. We started in 2021 because of the pandemic. Yay, thank you. I'm getting the theater snaps. I love it. We're on theme. I love it. We're on target. But I started for that reason, just so that we could connect and be able to use that and amplify that mission. And it has grown. And I know to date, over 50 women of all backgrounds, experiences, industries from across the nation that have shared this platform with me. And just their willingness. And so tonight I get to do that again with 4 amazing women. But before I jump into them right quick, I'm sorry, I'm a little vain. I wanted to just tap into my theater look, because tonight we are doing all things women, leadership, and performing arts, right? Because we're not going to just model look ourselves. We're not going to just be talking about theater, but we're going to be talking about performing arts, because these are some bad mama jammas on this call, okay? So I got my theater glasses on that are not going to stay on the whole time. I've got my turtleneck, so that I can be kind of, what is that? Mysterious. I feel like it gives me a mysterious look. And it's Black because if you do performing arts, I don't care if you're doing a play in elementary school or you are on the big stage, Black tends to be that base color. Even if you're an usher somewhere, right? Don't put on Black, because everybody can wear Black, and it's a good uniformity to bring about and to create singularity in one voice when we talk about performing arts. So that's what I'm representing tonight. So that's me and my spiel, and I love a good theme. So this is the theme I came with tonight. But I hope to bring all of this together so that I can amplify the voice of these 4 amazing women. And so how I want to introduce you all is to share just a little story about why I chose for this to be the topic for tonight. And I'm going to take my glasses off now. So 7-year-old Kristen was energetic Kristen, but I've been writing since I was 7 years old. My daddy was a writer. He did nonfiction, newspaper stuff, genealogy stuff, but I love fiction. I love creativity and using my imagination. And that is the core of who I am. I used to ask my twin sister to come in and play all the roles. Whoever came over to that house became the audience. And from that moment on, I was writing plays and poems and, you name it. I love being able to take what is here and put it on paper and then see it come to life and share stories. And so somewhere after 7, 8, 9, life trauma happens, right? I put on a button-up white collar shirt and I said, all right, let me sit behind a desk and do this thing. So I did the desk work for 20 plus years. I did get an opportunity to use my creative, because I still wrote. I'm an author. I've done some screenwriting, some documentary stuff, all that good stuff. But in 2016, my daughter, who was in theater at the time, invited me to audition with her at one of the only Black theaters in the country, Academy Theater, and to audition for The Wiz, which is a freaking classic. I don't care where you're from. It is a classic in theater and movie. And it is, what I want to say, it crosses so many boundaries. I love the show. And I did on a whim, and your girl became Eveline, which is another legendary role in theater. And I got to do it with my daughter, which was a sweet, sweet time. But So that was my first time like living out loud in that way as an adult and coming from behind the desk. And I met Noelia Jones, and she was on that stage with me. She was a vibrant performer, just absolutely talented in dance and acting. And I think we also got a chance to be alongside her amazing daughter who plays lacrosse, Aeneas. But Noelia was on that show, in that show with me, and I met her. And this is how I'm introducing you all. And she's just absolutely amazing. So say hello, Noelia, to the crowd.
Hello.
Awesome. Yeah, I am so absolutely grateful that you were in that show with me. And so I did the show, y'all, and then I went back behind the desk. Okay. Went back behind the desk because that's what life tells you to do. I was eating regularly, all that good stuff, and I was climbing whatever ladder I thought I was supposed to climb. And in 2023, I said I want to get back to my core. So I quit my corporate job, ran my company full time, and the opportunity came where Noelia ushered me back into my core. And I joined the cast of Coco Queens, which was a world premiere play by the Ladarian Williams, who is an amazing playwright and author. And from there, I met Claire Kolheim. And so say hello, Claire, before I get caught up.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, everybody.
Awesome. So Claire was on the show, and sorry, was the director of the show, and she absolutely helped grow me some more as a creative, as a performer. I took many nights. I cried at home, and she may not even know that. Just, wanting to make sure that I lived up to the vision of what the director Claire asked for. But Claire is an award-winning actress, performer. She's a director. I know I'm missing something. She sings. She probably dances. A lot of stuff that I look forward to learning more about tonight. And I don't want to miss Noelia. You're also an Australian, correct, Noelia?
Yes.
All right, because I got to put respect where respect belongs. I don't want to forget that tonight. Absolutely. So yeah, I have award-winning and award nominee women on this call with me tonight. So that's how I met Claire, and she has been an absolute delight. And so from there, because of the show, I also had a chance to be directed by the one-woman genius. That's what I've come up with for you, Ann. Okay, the one-woman genius, Ann Perry Wallace. And please say hello to the crowd.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. Such an honor. I know you're using directed loosely because I was watching Claire closely as she directed. But thank you for having me on.
No, thank you. Another award-winning actress or playwright. She writes, she directs. And please check out Live Rich, Die Poor. I think I got it right.
You got it
Live
right.
Rich, Die Poor. Please go check it out, and all the other amazing work. And we'll get a chance to hear more from you as well, Ann. And so I got a chance to share space with those three. And then last but not least, I got to be hip to hip, hug, like bosom to bosom with the Nichole Tate-Jackson for 20 something days. Like, come on with the theater snaps. I love it. I love the sisterhood on this call. So say hello, Nichole Tate-Jackson.
Hello, everyone. I definitely am glad to share this space with such amazing women, and thank you for having me, Kristen.
No, I'm so grateful that you said yes. So thank you so much for the yes. So Nichole is an amazing, I want to say she is an amazing actress on theater, but she doesn't play just on theater. She come off this stage and she in real life is a film star. Okay, she's an amazing film actress, and we're gonna obviously learn more and more about you as well. But I got to share the stage with Nichole, and so we were all tied to Coco Queens, and so tonight is a family reunion. That's what I feel like. It's a family reunion, and that's why every time I posted about it, I was like, this is so special to me tonight to be able to share this space with you all. We've been on hiatus since March, and to be able to share and start back up with you ladies makes me just, I told y'all my heart is warm tonight. So how this gonna go? Right? Because y'all like, what do we really come here for? Because Kristen sure has been talking a lot, but I want to make sure I give the proper respect and background. And so the question I always like to start with, because we are talking about women leaders who walk the talk. I want to hear from each of you. And if you had to describe leadership in one word, what would it be? Whoever wants to jump in, no rhyme or reason.
I'll jump in. Leadership in one word is humility.
Give us your context of why.
Well, when I think about a true leader, I think about Jesus the Christ. And a true leader, as he was, is a servant, someone who doesn't see themselves above some others, someone who operates in humility. And, you know, he was God in the flesh. And for him to come down, you see what I'm saying? And still walk amongst us. And so I whatever I'm in, I'm blessed to be in a leadership role. That is the model I'm emulating. I'm no better than anybody in that room, because at any given time it could be somebody else's turn, right? So I don't take it for granted, and I walk in that humility, knowing that even though I may feel unworthy, it is time for me to represent in a way that others can see. You know, I like that type of leadership, and that's what I want. That's the type of leader I want to be.
I love it. Humility. I love it. I love it. Humility. That's our one word. Drop that in the chat if you all are watching. Drop humility in the chat if y'all see this. And don't worry, I'm taking notes. These are my notes for tonight. Okay. All right. Who's up next? You got humility. What else we got?
I think I would say service or servant. I think that's what Claire just said, but I was thinking service, because as a leader, you're taking care of folks. You have been empowered or trusted or honored to take care of folks. And so part of that is being a servant. And I wish I could remember this actress's name, but I was a young actress in Chicago. And gosh, she was in Daughters of the Dust, but she was in this play. And I was there as an usher. And she came out and everybody was just in awe and talking to her. And I was, you know, standing there waiting to do something for her. And I started coughing, and she went and got me water. Now, really, that was my job to do for her, right? And I thought, that is a true leader, because she was acting as a servant. And she was also doing what Claire just said. She showed humility, although she was the lead actress in this show and had come off all this success on Daughters of the Dust. She went and got the usher some water. And so to me, that was a true leader.
Awesome. And I love the tie-in, right? You almost can't have humility and not be willing to serve, right? Or be willing to serve and not have humility. They go hand in hand. So, all right, we got humility and we got service or servants, however you want to choose to use it. All right, who do we have next? Noelia or Nichole, either one. Nichole?
Is Noelia pointing at me?
She did.
I'm pointing at you, girl.
Well, those were actually words that came to mind. So I think I'll shift and I'll say focus on the task at hand, but focus on the people that you're responsible for. So it kind of ties in to what both Claire and Ann were saying. I think it's just important to not lose sight of not only the objective in whatever capacity that you're serving in a leadership position, but that you cannot meet the goal of whatever that space is if you don't have a focus on the people that contribute to that goal. So I think it's just important for women or whomever that they, you know, make sure that they maintain that balance, to make sure that, yeah, we want to make sure that we achieve whatever that ultimate, you know, end result is, but you cannot do that without the investment of the people that you're leading.
That's very true. You can't do it without it. I love it. All right. So we got focusing on the people, right? People oriented leadership, and making sure we're using their service and their humility. All right. Tie us up with a bow. What we got, Noelia?
Oh boy, you guys drive a hard bargain. I would say, based on my journey, being a leader is also being able to take risks. Being able to accept the wins and the losses. And with that, being able to, with leadership, be able to grow with either or, by example, based off of that. I think for me would be my bow that I'm going to put on this box.
And you did. And you did a pretty red when I made it red. I don't know if that was right, but that's what I made it. But absolutely, I love that risk. We don't think about how leadership really is. An effective leader is more willing to take risks or accept them when they come, even if you don't necessarily forecast them, and be able to ride that tide out, because there are going to be highs, there are going to be lows that come with that, and being willing to stick it out. So we talk about performing arts. Like, what has leadership, how does that even play out? Do they even tie together? I said they might, but how have y'all seen that show up? Like, however you all want to elaborate on that, but tying it to performing arts, because most people don't think about leadership when you think about, someone doing theater or film or writing. So I'm listening, I'm all ears.
I'll go ahead and
I can
chime
jump
in.
in.
Oh, go ahead. Jump in, Nichole.
I didn't know if it was a lag or, so I was jumping in like double dip. An opportunity to this most recent experience with Coco Queens, and just to be led during that journey by such awesome women. So I'm gonna take this time to give Claire and Ann their flowers. I think it is important to ensure that, even in the performing arts space, right, that we are in a space where we are comfortable, where we feel valued. One of the things that, when Claire set the tone from the beginning, to let us know that, she understands that we have lives outside of that show, and she wanted to make sure that, that we understood that she understood that, and that she allowed for life to happen, and because life does life sometimes, but she didn't just set a level of expectation to where we know we need to get the work done, but we also had the opportunity to even kind of have that balance even during that journey. We had to pivot, and she was always just very supportive with anything that we need, making sure that we were set up for success, making sure that she was available, to answer questions, and providing us with resources and tools to kind of help us with our character development and things of that nature. So I think definitely, that leadership does absolutely play a part in performing arts. And there, just like in the real world, you can have good leadership and you have not so good leadership.
What did you say?
But
Clock that too.
I'm thankful that the vast majority of the opportunities that I have been a part of, I can honestly say, especially with the most recent one, that I have had excellent leadership.
Yay. I love it. Love it. Yes, it can make or break, even just the morale. Because what I really got from that was how you felt as an actress under the leadership, right? Not even the technical component, like trying to remember blocking, trying to remember words, but like just feeling confident from the leadership that you have. That's so important. I love that. I love that. Who else?
I'll chime in, because I like the example that Nichole used, because obviously I was there and chosen as assistant director. One of the characteristics of a leader that didn't come out, and I wanted to add in, is that you're a learner also. And in my role as the assistant director, it was really important for me to watch Claire. I was watching her model. all the things that she had learned. And I was soaking up that knowledge so that I too could model myself as a leader. And what that meant for me in that role is trying to be a quick study, watching the leader. And so, as the assistant director, who was also a leader, watching, learning, and and having humility, because that I was new in that role, and so that meant knowing when to talk and knowing when to be quiet. You know, and so I think sometimes it's trial by error. You are, to use Noelia's word, you're risking it. When you are working with people and all eyes are on you and people are looking for you to guide them, direct them, and you are taking some risk.
Yep. I love that. Like, and I think that's an important piece that a lot of people don't think about: leader equaling being willing to always learn. And then to be able to learn means that you got to be willing to listen. That does require you to have humility and be able to put yourself, on pause, right? If nothing else, right? Not necessarily that you're taking any power away from yourself, or you're not being able to still use the skill levels that you have, but being willing to add to that by learning from others. So I love that. I love that. If y'all had to say one of the biggest challenges that you have had as a performing artist in any realm, it doesn't matter a show, it doesn't matter what art you're choosing, because some of you sing, dance. What would be one of the biggest challenges you have? But more importantly, how did you overcome it?
Can I start, if that's okay?
Oh, come on. I felt that one. Come on.
I want to start because when I was a young mother and I had young children, had special needs. And so I had to take a pause on the creative arts, because I had always said one thing I would never want to have a regret in is in my parenting. So I took a pause in the arts. And so when I came back to it, I felt a little left behind. And I remember there was a movie that was cast, and I just wasn't getting any calls. And I promise you, I said, everybody I know is in that movie. Everybody I know is in the movie. And I had auditioned. I had auditioned and didn't get it. Claire, you were in that movie. Brian Banks, I think the movie was. And so what the challenge was, are you going to complain? Are you going to, wait for folks to call you? And I decided, no, I'm not. I'm going to write something for myself, and I'm going to produce it, and I'm going to work. And that was, I heard somebody say sink or swim, and so that was a moment. That was a moment for me to just decide, you know what? People might not be beating down my door, but I still have something to offer. And I just got up off my butt and researched and wrote and produced that play so that I could have something for myself.
That is so good. And you really took me somewhere, and I was like, no, Chris, don't go there. But we have to give ourselves grace and focus on priority, right? Even as creatives, and I'm sure a lot of people experience it. I really want to be an actress. I really want to be on TV, or, all those things. But we have to be willing to say, you know what, maybe not right now, but that doesn't mean later. I can't do it because you're taking care of the greater piece that's important, right? We don't get those moments back with our children. They only 9 or 19 or 12, only once, right? They only get so many recitals. But theater is going to be there. TV is going to be there. And maybe once we play teenagers and we come back and we playing, aunties, that's okay. That's all right, because you're still sticking to what your heart says. And what your core is. So I love that. Thank you. And you can overcome it. So I don't know about y'all, but this is a bad mama jamma. I told y'all that it's a bad mama jamma. And Perry Wallace, yes, she is. What about someone else? A challenge and how you've overcome it? Thank you for sharing it, because I know a lot of people are going to be able to use those nuggets.
I think for me, the biggest challenge was to be willing to check my pride at any and every given point. And, Emma, right? So,
Stage manager extraordinaire.
yeah. So before I got a chance to direct my very first show, which was Clyde's, I was assistant directing and learning from as many people as I could, right? And that was for the free 99, except one gig where I kind of like negotiated a $500 something. Okay. So, but usually when you're assisting directing locally in Memphis, it's not a paid obligation. So your commitment can be as much or as little as you and or the director agree to, right? It's almost like volunteer. So you're getting as experience to see if you even want to do this. So I got my first assistant directed opportunity at another theater. Then I assistant directed at Playhouse for a circuit Playhouse production. And then I was asked to assistant direct one of the big musicals. And I was like, okay, I still didn't know what I was doing. And so I was just like, unsure. But because I had won awards and people remembered me from the time when I was actively working on the stage, sometimes you forget to stay humble. So what happened was I walk into this rehearsal once, and Emma this is like her first 2 weeks in Memphis, and she's helping one of the main stage managers who had to be off. So she's there. And when I walk in, she says something to me, and I was like, you don't have to call my name like that because X, Y, and Z, and she goes, I don't even know who you are. And at that moment, I was like, I know this heifer didn't just bring her mouth to part her lips to say what I think she said.
She did.
And did. I felt so bad for the next 2 years because I was like, that interaction with that woman was not right. The next day I apologized to her and she was like, I don't even remember it. So during Coco Queens, I bring it up to her again. I said, you remember when I was a jerk to you that one time? And she goes, I remember someone was. And I said, it was me, girl. And to think about, to walk a fine balance. For me, it's always when you see yourself in the mirror and you want to be something you strive to be. And the moment you sit on your laurels, your ego come in a way. It's not for me. It is about balancing life and the arts because it requires so much time. But the real check for me is always when my ego gets and my pride gets checked. And it's like, you know what, sis? Remember who you are before you take one more step to becoming who you don't want to be.
Wow.
And see, that's the thing for me is I got to remember the woman that I am desiring to be, the leader I'm trying to emulate. If I'm not careful, people think that, oh, you want to be this, you want to be that. When you get success, it can go to your head. And before you know it, you walking on folks instead of lifting them up. And for me, I had to make the decision. I'm going to call myself to the carpet. That's why I went and told Emma, who it was our stage manager for Coco Queens. You remember that time I was a jerk because I wanted to make sure that she knew, I knew at that point I was wrong.
That is so good. So first I started writing down vulnerability, right? Because you have to be willing to be vulnerable to say, this is where I may be out of line, right? I'm out of whack with where I truly should be, right? Back to your humility. And one of the reasons I asked that question at the very beginning is because that truly typically is who we are in essence. Whatever that word is we use for leadership, that's how we choose to lead. And it's through those experiences, like what you just gave, that helps to build those type of traits and makes them more effective for us. And that's why even hearing Nichole or hearing Ann share the things that they shared about you is because of the experience that you learned on your own and you learned from it, right? Because it's one thing to learn it. There's another thing to learn from it where you activate the lesson, and you do that as you are leading others in theater. So I love that. I love that, and the accountability.
I'd like to, if I could, add
Yeah.
to that. Just something that you're doing is taking notes, and it's like you said, you could learn that and learn through that. So I take notes on myself. Like I don't think I said that well. So I need to apologize. I don't think I acted right. I'll go back and say, hey, do you remember when because I don't think as a leader, you're above reproach, even if it's you giving that to yourself.
Yep.
And if you don't take notes on yourself, we used to have a pastor who said he used to study his wife, right? So he knew what she liked. So when he went and bought her gifts, it wasn't something she would return because he studied her like she was a course, right? So I study myself too. And just like you're doing, taking notes, I tell my students, anytime someone comes in front of you, you have paper and pen, because you don't know what nugget, if one thing that they tell you. So every night after I'm done directing or acting, I do go back and I take a note. Who did I feel? Maybe they didn't feel that way, but I felt that I didn't treat like a human, because that's who we are first. We're humans first. We're performers second. And to your question, as a leader, that's what leaders should see first, not a cog in the wheel, but a human being, like Nichole said, helping us to fulfill a vision.
Right. I love it. That was so good. And making sure that we take notes. And so like and for my millennials, because I'm on the cusp, okay? For my millennials, if it's your phone and it's your notepad, and that's not just millennials, that's everybody. Everybody got technology today. But I love it. It's not even necessarily just the pen and paper or the phone. I'm hearing the larger picture of making sure that you are in tune and you're paying attention to those moments that you are to take in that lesson and to be activated. We have to be willing to pay attention because so many things are happening around us, but if we're not in tune with it, we're missing it and it's flying by us. So what about you, Noelia? Anything you want to share about a challenge that you overcame in theater? And it could be as a woman, as a leader, whatever you want to share. Let's see. I think your mute is back on. Here we go. Okay, unmute your mic for me. I think that's what's still on. Your mic is muted. There you go. Nope. Let's see. Okay, let's try it now.
How about now?
We good now.
God, look at that. All right, talking about taking risks. That's where I left that, right? Well, in theater, I was growing up in New York. I think this is where this all started for me, because I went to what we call, I'm not sure, I'm probably older than everybody in the group, but the Fame School, where Debbie Allen and Leroy, where they had the sitcom. So growing up, I've always envisioned myself being at that school. So I auditioned for that school and I got in. And I was always a student, a child that I listened. And in that particular school and going to the Alvin Ailey School, I learned that we are seen and not heard. So I grew up in that era where the discipline was really, really tough, because in order to make it in New York City, you really just had to be a great listener. You really couldn't talk. You really couldn't say how you really feel. And I look back at my life then, the Noelia then, and now being a leader of developing my own program in my own school. And I listen to all of the students say how they really feel, like they're so expressive, or if they don't like something that you do, or if they question your direction or the things that you tell them. It's a different time, because when I tell them my experience in the arts growing up, being when I was their age, dancers were seen and not heard. You were supposed to put out, you know what I mean? You learn the material and you just do it. You kind of had to find your niche and your people. And so growing up, when I think about it, and also back then when I was artist, teachers can tell you you're too fat, you're too skinny.
Where's the political correctness?
You know what I mean? Like, they were harsh. You can't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't dare do that to a child now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are accepting of everybody, and you're loving on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Are now, but growing up, that's not where that's not where we were. It was either you had the talent and they took you, or you didn't have the talent and it was like, sorry, kid. So my outlook on the arts in general, sometimes I wish I grew up in this time, because I feel like now things are understood and accepted. Life is just different now than what it was when I was growing up. So I kind of feel like I had it hard, because time growing up, I had to prove myself. Where kids don't have that type of energy. They don't feel like they have to be in the front. You know what I mean? They feel like, well, I'm good and this is what you're getting. So it's a mindset for me, I notice even now as I am older, auditioning for things, or, I still have that look, I got to get this right, so it's just, like I said, it's a mindset. It's different here. And I had to learn to accept the differences that is in the South than it is from the North. Even when it comes to being either an artist or the one that's doing the directing or the choreographing, on the table.
That was the other word, choreographer. I forgot to say a mean choreographer. I'm meant to put that out there. Absolutely. But look, let me tell you what I just pulled from you, Noelia. Like, first of all, the evolution of performing arts, right? The standards, the culture of it. Even with it being more innovative. Like, I love that you spoke to the history, but also to the way creatives have been able to change the way they use their voice, right? As you said, once upon a time, it wasn't. It's take the direction and keep it moving. I have been in spaces where I've seen actors and actresses like kind of questioning the director. And I'm scratching my head. I'm like, am I missing something? Am I in a Twilight Zone? Because the way I've always understood it, to your point, I remember Fame. I was itty bitty, but I used to love that show. But it was very much get in line, let's get it done, hard, very competitive. And so it has changed. The competition still exists, right? It's probably even harder because there is the whole everybody's interconnected because of the internet and because of, web and all of those things. But I love the way you pulled out being able to overcome and transition and being agile in performing arts, because there's always going to be evolution. You said you wish you were born today in it, but who knows what it's going to look like 30 years from now, right? I think we'll be watching a bunch of holograms on the screen or AIs when we go to theater. I don't know. I hope not. I pray not, because you can't replace the human component. Yes. But I love that. So thank you for sharing that. Being willing to be agile and shift with the times, while still staying true to yourself. That's what I also heard, staying true to yourself. And the inclusivity, yes. Like, clearly that's a big deal nowadays, making sure that everyone has their voice, and it's so much more attention towards it. And I did want to make sure I mentioned this. Fame then is what A Different World became, right? I feel like Fame was like that movie that people used to watch. I'm like, I was with you, right? I wanted to be Debbie Allen. I wanted to get people in line. And then Different World came, and I feel like they have some of those same etched in memories and desires that it shows. So anyway, you took me down memory lane on that one. I'm getting a little sidetracked. So I know we're kind of short for time, so I'm trying to think what I want to hear from you all most before we get into the most fun part of this is if you had to share one nugget with another woman leader of any age that you choose that wants to get started in the space, what would that one nugget be? I know, just one. I know I'm asking for a lot, but if you could have one nugget, what would it be?
I'll start. Unless, Nichole, were you about to say something? I thought she was about to say something. Something that I do in personal development is I have made a list of who I want to show up as. And then I'm looking at who I am now. And so the gap between who I am and who I want to be, for me, is personal development.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say to a young woman, a young leader, is just write down a list of the attributes. Who do you want to be?
Mm.
And look at where you are now. And the way you close that gap is by your personal development, is what you're doing every day to build yourself up. And if you're actively pursuing that, the the gap will close,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mm-hmm.
will look up, and you will be who you intentioned yourself to be.
Mm.
But it takes intentionality.
I love it. I love it. And writing, it sounds like also writing the vision and making it plain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And holding yourself accountable, because once you put it on paper, it's like, now you got to activate. Now you got to do it. And what I also love about your nugget is I love to make people feel good and connect with themselves. But I love when you have an action item. Yes, that's the teacher in me. Yes, for the action item, make the list. And really take the intentionality, as you said, to create your future. Like that's what you're ultimately doing, creating your future. All right. So I love that nugget. What do we have? Nichole, what do you have for us? If you're ready, you can point to somebody else. Let me see. She might be a little frozen. So we'll jump. Claire, what you got for us? Or Noelia, whichever one.
Okay, I'll go for it. I think learn to be a good student.
Mm.
Be a good student. And sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If
Mm-hmm.
you are really observant and you're learning and you open-minded and you have a clear heart, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what you see and what you're getting from everybody, kind of pile it up and see what things and techniques work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and now that I'm bringing up the word student, I was so honored that Claire could have called anybody to help her assistant direct. She was a genius when she directed Your Arms Are Too Short to Box for God. Yeah, I'm plugging that in, sis. I'm plugging that in. And we won an Ostrander because of that production. And the first thing I told Claire was it wasn't so much me being an assistant director, right? The names wasn't the problem. The biggest thing I wanted to take away was I kept telling Claire, I am here to be your student. And she can tell you, I mean, God's my witness. I am really big on learning from everyone
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of taking what works.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, reinventing the wheel. Sometimes that's not even necessary. Sometimes when we are learning from other people, we'll pick up those little nuggets and say, you know what, this looks good. Let me try this out. And that's where being open-minded comes in. So I kind of feel like being a good student and learning and be willing to learn and not being selfish and being, like I said, open-minded, I think that helps with that whole process as well.
I love it, love it. And creating your own recipe. What is your own secret sauce from that? I wish I was an amazing cook, but I'm not. But I always make these references like I am. But no, absolutely create your own recipe, because as much as we're making lists, to your point, and I'm gonna shut up, but Anne, when you said creating that list of who we want to be, it really is creating that recipe, that secret sauce, so that we show up authentically and genuinely every day in the space, which makes the characters and the performance come alive even more excellent. Okay, I'm gonna shut up because I'm getting chills. Okay, who we got? Nichole, you next.
I'm sorry, I was having some technical difficulties, so
You
I
good?
missed some of the question, but just listening to the responses, I think I know what the task is.
Yeah, just tell
So
us
I'm gonna
what you want us
say
to walk away with. Mm-hmm.
never give up.
Mm,
Um, I think it's important, um, especially in this space, you're gonna get a lot of no's.
mm.
But the truth of the matter is you only need one yes, right? And I'm just a true believer of the opportunities that are supposed to be for me, I will get them. And the
Mhm.
ones that are not, they just weren't for me. So, but I think that you have to just still continue to keep going because it can get discouraging if you go to audition after audition, and you're not selected. But what I've learned in this business too is that it's not always about talent. There's other aspects of the selection process, when you're going to casting for different things. And you just have to be mindful and keep that in the back of your head that I have to persevere if this is something that I'm truly passionate about and know that what's for me is for me. So just don't give up.
This is what I saw. Mic drop. Never give up. I love it. I love it. But you're so right. Like if you want to build a little character and learn how to take dart after dart, like try to become a theater person or be in film. Anything you got to audition for, right? Because it is no's, right? And more often than the yeses. And you're right though. All you need is that one yes. And then keeping in mind of why you're doing it, right? So just because you get a no and you stop, okay, now you got to ask how bad did you really want it, if you don't go after the next one and the next one. So I loved it. I love that. So thank you, Nichole. Never give up. Be a good student. Make a list of who you want to show up as so you can be that person. And Claire, what we got? What's yours?
Well, mine is along the line of being a student because I get this question a lot as it relates to how do I become an actor? The true nugget for me is take a class. Like a lot of times we want to go and just jump into the arts, and I know I did, and I fell flat on my face. And I didn't understand the industry. I wasn't a student of the craft. I didn't understand Uta Hagen and all these big theater directors and their philosophies. You know what I'm saying? But you understand it to a certain degree. But I think like to get started and then continue to get better, take a class, invest in your craft. Also, you can write it off on your taxes, but invest in your craft. I'm always tell everybody that. Shoot, you can start writing everything off. Come on, we'll do that on another stream, right?
Big note.
But it's true. We'll talk about that. But if you invest in the class, because the reason I got into theater was because I was working for the Florida Department of Education. I had been working there for 7 to 8 years, and I had this big voice. I didn't know how to control it. I said I was going to go to school to learn to be a singer. My friend said, "You ever thought about musical theater?" I said, "What is that?" I went and looked for the top 2 schools. I was like, well, I want someone to teach me how to sing or how to whatever this thing is acting. I went to the top 2 schools. I got rejected during the audition for the first school, and I got accepted to the second school. I walked on their campus and I said, "This school feels like fame." Then I just kept taking classes. My first semester was a little weird. Okay. Not going to lie. I didn't understand. I wasn't ready for the different life that theater is. But the second semester, I said, you know what? I'm going to be a student. And I got compliments from my teachers, what they call them at this conservatory. They were like, "Claire, I don't know what happened between first and second semester, honey, but you doing the thing." And I just did like Noelia, and I just kept learning. And even though I wanted the limelight or what I thought was the limelight, I just kept trying to learn from different people, tapping into whatever natural talent I may have had. But in understanding, I needed that sharpened. I needed someone to, LeBron James on his off season, he got, I think it was Akeem Olajuwon or Mutombo to coach him. I needed coaches to help me maneuver my steps. I needed people to teach me. And a lot of times I feel like we passionately want to start acting, but we don't want to learn what that is all about. And once you get that technique, yes, you will still get a lot of no's. Yes, but you're confident in that because, like Nichole said, you understand it may not even be about you. You just might not look the part. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know that until you take these classes and you get these no's. Last thing, 2018, I went to New York. I was there for like 6 months. I auditioned almost every day, 2 to 4 times a day. And I got 3 maybes, a total of 64 auditions back to back. I got 3 maybes, and the last audition of that time away from my family was my yes. And that was the one that sent me across the world on the Disney Cruise Line. I went to Europe, went to Asia, we went to the Caribbean, we went to Mexico, all because, like Nichole said, I got that yes. And then I started deciding this is who I want to be, someone who takes risks, like Anne says, making a list of who I am, being a student, and deciding to keep pushing. And that's it. Starts with the class of you being able to take note from somebody who says, no, try something different. Now you got to use your creativity. What does different look like? Somebody tell you stage left, stage right. You're not even accustomed to what that is. So you have to take the class, because what you don't want is to get a big opportunity and you're a novice in a big pond and people looking at you like you crazy. Take a class.
No shortcuts. That's what I heard, right? There's no shortcut to greatness. I'm going to say this because I don't usually say it on this platform, and shame on me. You cannot stumble upon greatness. You walk up to it and introduce yourself. And that's the motto. That's the drum that I march to. I usually say it every single time I speak or do a training engagement, but you literally said that. Like, you will not be your greatest actress or, you know, TV star or director or writer or choreographer or dancer if you're not willing to really invest in yourself and take the class. And I love that, because it's one thing to be a student and kind of watch in observance. It's another to be a student and like actually enroll and say, I'm learning the theory behind it, or I'm learning the technicalities. Like, I know what stage left mean and not just go over there. And then I understand why it's called stage left, right? And I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying I assume if I went to class, I'd know, okay? I need to take a class. That's what I heard, Claire. I need to take a class.
Take a class.
I need to take a class. No. So these were great. So we got 4 list out who you want to show up as so you can become that person. But make sure it's authentic. Be a good student. Never give up. And then take an actual class so that you can be an even better student as you continue to learn, because the craft is only as good as you are, and you got to continue to develop that and continue to want to be a great leader. One thing I don't know, and we probably stated this a little bit, you got to be willing to lead yourself first before you could ever lead others, right? And when you are on this stage, you are leading others, whether you are ensemble, whether you are leading character or not. In some way, you've got to play your part in leading yourself so that you can connect and move in sync with everyone else. And that's just not just actors, right? That's just obviously what keeps coming up for me. But any other performing arts, even if you're in a band, if you're doing instruments, it still needs to be that full connection. Were you going to say something real quick? And I think I felt like you were leaning forward.
I was going to hold it, but something Claire said at the end made me think about the difference in skill and talent, because so many people have talent that they forget that needs to be refined, and the talent will only take you so far, but you need to be skilled in it. And, you know, somebody way smarter than me said it first, so I'm just quoting them. I didn't make it up, but you want to refine that in a class or classes so that you can expand and use that talent in a skillful way.
I love it. I love it. Skill versus talent. There is a difference. And what's innate is awesome, but you make the innate even more awesome by just refining it. So I love it. I love it. So here's the fun part, because I've been having fun. First of all, I've been over here taking notes because it helps me kind of keep up with what you all are saying. But I honestly do take notes because I'm learning. I just need to go take a class, according to Claire. So I'm gonna go take a class. I did not make that miss that note. Absolutely. Make the innate great. I love that, Claire. Make the innate great. So this next section, and we're close to time, but if y'all will indulge me, is called This or That. So I'm going to call out a this or that, whatever comes to mind. Don't think too hard. This is not a test. Just give me which one you pick. All right. So here we go. The first one is leading from the front or leading from behind. Which one?
Behind.
Lead from the front. You can't lead from behind.
Okay, we got lead. We got one in the front and one behind.
I'm going to say depends on the season.
Come on, agility. being able to move and lead where you need to lead, right? Sometimes it is in the back, sometimes it's in the front. What you going with, Noelia?
Oh boy, that's a tricky one. Because I straddle the fence. Some days I'll lead from the front, and some days I'm gonna lead from the back. So you know, it just like I will agree with Miss Ann. I think it just depends on the timing. It's all about timing for me.
I love it. And that takes like a lot of maturity in your leadership too, right? To be able to read the room, read the audience, understand the moment, and what's really required of you, even if that means that you've got to be willing to follow or seriously lead from behind. So, I mean, directors, that's what y'all do, lead from behind, right? No one else sees you. The actors know you're there, but you've already told us and got us in line for however many grueling days. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having flashbacks. No, I'm kidding. All right, here's the next one. Eartha Kitt or Viola Davis?
Oh, good God.
I try to make these hard, okay?
You did. But you know, I'm just gonna say Eartha Kitt. I'm sorry.
Okay. Mark, and I'm really going latter in her career when I do the Marcus, darling. But she's been bad since day one.
Triple threat for me. So I say Eartha Kitt. There's nothing wrong with Viola Davis. She's amazing, but a true triple threat, somebody that has mastered their craft, Eartha Kitt.
All right, we got one for Eartha. What we got? My other ones?
I think I'm gonna go with Viola.
Okay, Viola. One for Viola, one for Eartha. They're not gonna come get y'all. You can give me the answer. They're not gonna show up at your door.
I hope Eartha Kitt don't show up at my door.
I know, right?
I'm gonna have to go with
you at the wrong
Kitt.
door. Just keep that door closed. Okay,
girl, I'm moving. I'm gonna say Eartha Kitt as well for the same reason, and also considering the time period that she was in, and some of her disruptions that she caused. So yeah.
Come on, Disruptor. I love it. So we got two Eartha, one Viola. What we doing, Nichole?
I love it.
Nichole.
I'm gonna have to say Viola.
Okay, all right, we tied up there. We got 2 and 2. So I'm gonna try and break this tie, and I am gonna go with there was no Viola without Eartha. So I'm gonna go with Eartha, so we can break that tie on that one. All right, here's the next one: Debbie Allen or Misty Copeland.
Oh my God, you would say.
I know. When you said Debbie earlier, I was like, "Oh, that's one of my questions," but I still had to do it.
I'm gonna say Debbie Allen because of her multifacetedness. If we're just talking dance, Misty Copeland for me is ballet, right? And Debbie Allen encompasses contemporary tap ballet. So I would say Debbie Allen.
Okay, all right, we got 2 on Debbie.
So a leader. He filled that particular role. Misty Copeland learned from that particular role. So I say Debbie Allen.
All right, 2 on Debbie, 1 on Misty. What we doing, Nichole?
Gotta give it to Miss Debbie Allen. Just so multifaceted and talented. Yes, absolutely.
All right, we got 3 there. And what you got for us, Ann?
I just have to agree. Debbie Allen, just the soul. She's just foundation, you know. I mean, Debbie Allen is out there directing Grey's Anatomy and all kinds of things. And had to, she had to go through so much. She's from that era where, there's dance companies wouldn't allow her to come into. So I'm going to go with it.
I love it. All right, I got 2 more, and then we're going to move to the end. Coming to America or Wakanda?
Now, when you say Wakanda, that's Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. I don't mean to be the nerd of the panel.
No, you're right. I always get that wrong. Black Panther 1, Black Panther, or Coming to America. Because I couldn't leave Boswick out, so I had to go with that one.
Wow.
Ooh, y'all got y'all stumped for real.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
And they're two different, kind of genres. I get it. But
Yeah,
if
that's
you
hard.
had to go to the movies tonight to watch one of them, what were you in the movie?
Coming to America.
Okay, one for Coming.
Black Panther.
All right, Black Panther.
Can I give an edited version?
Okay, what's the edited version, Claire? Come on, rewriting the script. What you got?
I'm torn between the two because I feel like without one, the other wasn't there. But then we had like such a Black experience when Black Panther came out. But I'd like to say that scene with Angela Bassett in Wakanda Forever, when she is talking to that panel of white men, they try to try her in the UN nation, and she rose up and I think that right there is my favorite scene. So I can't answer that question, but I just want to give that honorable mention.
You know what? I like that. And just because we are on Women Leaders Walk the Talk, I feel like it's appropriate that I'm going to be down for the Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. Just because of her.
Yeah. Angela
I understand, Claire, because she's like, have I not given everything?
She was bad. She was bad in that. All right, last one, y'all. Let me make sure I find it because I wanted to someone asked that one. It was about, art for entertainment or art for social change.
Again, I have to edit and say both.
Yeah,
because art does, and this is my opinion, art doesn't serve one purpose. Sometimes it's an escapism, like we need to have our Legally Blondes and whatever. And we also have to have one with a message that's thought-provoking. So I'm going to actually say both. One that challenges what we think, and one that entertains us to get us out of that 9 to 5.
We got a hybrid going on. What else we got? What are my other answers?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that one.
Yeah,
because we are entertainers, but we are also great storytellers.
Right.
So you're kind of playing both.
I like that. Is there one without the other? Right.
Yeah.
And you look like you're gonna say something, Ann.
This is not directly answering it, but I know, like, as an artist, this is not directly answering it, but for me, if I could choose something else, I almost would. Because the sacrifice, and I feel like artists are artists because they have to be artists. And for me, that is it. I guess it's both, because you're supposed to be. I knew that I was supposed to be on the stage when I was in the 7th grade, but that was entertainment. But it also has the power to reach people you would not be able to reach in any other way. There's somebody that might see you in a film or on stage that would not share a cup of coffee with you if they had to.
That's true. That is absolutely true. I love it. So we're doing hybrid on the last one and just making sure that we are using our entertainment lens to be able to share the messages of the story, right? And some of them are for ha-ha laughs, but even those ha-has, right, can create social change, right? And can create better futures, the same as dramas and so on. So, all right. Thank y'all so much for sharing your this or that. I do want to make sure I shout out, and I meant to do this at the beginning. I want to shout out the other talented castmates that were tied to Coco Queen. Shout out to Danita Johnson, woo, 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 and Maddie Jackson and Ebony Williams. I want to make sure I shout all of them out because I wouldn't have had this warm heart without all of them being a part of my experience and like making it all click. I was like, I need to have them up. We got to come on my show so I can amplify these voices because you all are absolutely amazing. And so shout out to all of those ladies as well. So we love you, we love you, we love you. And so I guess I want to make sure that the audience knows how to connect with you all. What is something that is on the horizon you want us to pay attention to? Let us know. And just, handles, websites, initiatives, just go.
So you can connect with me at liverichdiepoor.org. It is a one-woman show on the life of Zora Neale Hurston that I am hoping to take across the country and the world.
And that's liverich.poor.org.
Yep.
All right. That's what we want to make sure we tap into. Y'all go, please check it out. Masterful. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. All right. All right. Thank you for that, Ann. Who else?
I'll go. You can catch me on my website that's outdated, but I'm going to find some time to update it, God willing, one day this lifetime. It's cdkolheim.com. I also call Obama on all these in these internet streets. You can also find me on Facebook as Claire D. Kolheim. But something that I'm really, really excited to always plug is my little gratitude book on Amazon. So just look for Kolheim. And if you're looking to consider helping form your or reshape your mindset, I think gratitude is always key. So look for me on, yes, amen. Look for me on Amazon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so there we go. I knew it was something else I was gonna learn. So we got to put author out there. Got to add author. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Nichole or Noelia, whichever one, please.
Okay. Noelia, this time first.
You want me to go?
Go ahead, girl.
Hey, girl. I am actually preparing for my dance that I will be directing at Lausanne Collegiate School. We open on October 28th, along with I'm choreographing a main stage production called Parade at Playhouse on the Square that runs the month of January. And I will also be directing Footloose at Lausanne Collegiate School for, it runs February 28th to March 1st.
Ooh, we got lots to go check out. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, theater snaps. I don't know if that's what it's called. That's what I'm calling it tonight. What's the real term, Claire? I know you know. What's the real term?
I don't know. It's from I think it's from Neo Soul, spoken word. That you be like,
Okay.
yes.
There we go. I was trying to go to class on that one. I was trying to go to class.
You're trying to go for free. See, that's the problem.
Hey, can you blame me? Can you blame me? All right, so we got plenty to go watch and support for Noelia and her director and acting roles. And last but not least, Nichole, how can we make sure we support you?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook at Nichole Tate-Jackson, as well as on Instagram at Nichole Tate-Jackson. And I am actually part of a ensemble with Princeton Giants Productions. We actually have a residency with the Orpheum Theater and the Hollering. We just kicked off our tour, our fall tour, this past Sunday at the Hollering with a interactive soulful murder mystery. So we have different themes. This most recent theme was Disco Detective, so it was 70s theme. So we had a blast and a great turnout. And so we are coming to a city near you. I'm very excited about the opportunity to tour with such an amazing cast. And Princeton James is our fearless leader, and he's also an excellent servant leader. But yeah, next stops are in Houston and Dallas, the 28th of September in Houston, October 5th in Dallas, October 6th in Houston. We also have dates in Jackson, Mississippi, October the 11th. And we have another show at the Hollering in Memphis on the 27th. That will actually be a Bridgerton theme. I am so excited about it. And not only is the cast, of course, dressed in that theme, we ask the audience to come with your best Bridgerton gear. So it's a whole experience. As soon as you hit the door, you are immersed into what's going on and having to figure out who the characters are, who gonna die, and who done it. So good food, good music, and definitely a good time. And also, I have a film currently streaming on various platforms called The Sticks, STIX, by Jerron Lockridge. Misguided Perception is his media company. A lot of quality content from an independent creator. Just definitely glad to be working with him. I'm actually filming with him again in October for his next installment of a series he's doing called Betray. And so excited about that. And your girl is available for hire.
All right. I love it. I don't know if y'all heard all that, but these ladies are booked and busy. Good luck getting in touch with them. Okay, you better get in where you can fit in. But I love that you all are making sure that you are putting your stamp and creating your own impact and using your voice, whether it's on paper to help others use it to make it come to life, or it's in physical form as we're, dancing and creating choreography. Like, thank you all just for being you and being an amazing woman leader in the spaces that you are in. Just know that I admire each of you as humans, as women, and as leaders. And y'all know how to get in touch with me. So if you need anything, make sure that you all please let me know. So round of applause to you all, to our audience that is going to be there. I want to thank you all for showing up. Please catch the replay. Please share it. Once we do figure out what the little issue was tonight, but please share it. And if you don't share this one, just let everyone know about the platform. Real quickly, Women Leaders Walk the Talk. We're back next month in October. We're going to be doing safety and law enforcement with women and leaders. So I can't wait to tap into that. It's getting ready to go into the cold season. Pull your gun out, pull your mace out. But how can we be confident and feel safe as women and even working in that profession, right? So I look forward to exploring all of that. I also have the Empower Her Retreat intensive that is happening October the 11th through the 13th right here in Memphis, Tennessee. It won't feel like you in Memphis, I promise you. But it's going to be an amazing time where we literally are disconnecting from the rest of the world for 2.5 days, just being out in nature and really connecting. We got expert speakers, gourmet chefs, workshops. You're gonna have your me time, but if you know me, it's about growing and glowing. So it's gonna be interactive, it's gonna be engaging, but you will get your rest time too. And other than that, join the Facebook group Women Leaders Walk the Talk. We are still a growing community. I think we're around almost 900 now. So please join that and just stay plugged in. Follow my website, which is KristenWebb.com. You can learn all things that I have going on with Women Leaders Walk the Talk and others. But thank you to our guests, for those who were able to log on and check us out, those who are catching the replay. Thank you to production. Thank you, Yadi. Yadi's in the background handling all things great, making sure the technology is doing what it's doing. Thank you so much for that. And I think that's all I got, y'all. We're a little over, but it's for a good cause. And y'all can charge me later. I don't know, maybe over dinner or something. I buy a Coca-Cola. Okay, buy your Coca-Cola. But no, thank y'all. And as always, let's lead. That's it. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.